I do have this silly series, that whole what can ivara basically take control of. She can control pretty much anything as long as it shoots a projectile, unlike things like that shoot bullets. It's any projectile apart from bullets. And since this thing came out, everybody keeps telling me I have to try this with Mirage. I know how it works with Mirage. Everybody pretty knows how well it's going to work, because instead of shooting 1 round, it's going to shoot 4. And then I thought, well, didn't they actually change that since last time I used Mirage? And thought, I'd better look into this, because I can't just assume that it still works the way it did before, when it could work differently. The math says that for every 3 rounds, you will save 1. So before activating it, I need to see how many times I have to shoot this. That's 1. That's 2. Oh, 3. And they're all dead. So I should have to shoot it twice to take them out. I'm not getting into the fact that they don't do the same amount of damage. It's less than the total damage. But from everything I could find, the math says because it took 3 before, it should take 2 this time, because for every 3 rounds you basically save having to use a round, which, oh, almost true. That is so close to dead. That just, I don't know why that was. They were so close, but that was still 3 rounds. That's weird. And before anybody else starts going on about it, I did try the whole, what was it, 299% power strength build. And it actually turned out to be slightly worse than the build I had, but roughly about the same, because it still ended up taking about 3 rounds to take all 5 of them out. So what I did is I went back to the build I had before, which I have mentioned before, so I'm not going into it, using the augment for Hall of Mirrors, and it actually kind of increased the damage just a little bit, but not by a great deal. But there was the 2 rounds we were looking for, with the 3rd being slightly off to the side, not taking the same amount of damage as the other ones. So it does work as intended. It's just a bit of a pain, because you've got to have the augment in there to get it to work. Going back to the 299% power strength build with Hall of Malevolence on this time, yes, I managed to remember the name of that augment, actually remembered how to pronounce it, and trying this out, got pretty much the same results. Sadly, I'm not really willing to sacrifice my health and shields, because I basically have none, to get similar results. And Hall of Malevolence still only goes to about 25. Should go higher, but I've only got a limited number of enemies spawning in here. And just to settle any weird arguments that may occur, normally you fire 2 rounds from this thing if you put multi-shot on. If you don't, it'll just fire 1. People say it's not arrows that this bow shoots, but I guess you could call that an arrow. And if you've ever wondered where that whole 3-to-1 math comes from, turns out it shoots, well, it can't be denied, there's definitely 6 rounds there. Only 2 of these things are actually shooting. The 2 at the back don't seem to be firing anything at all. And I fired this a few times and it's pretty much exactly the same. You can actually see the previous rounds going off in the background there. And just for argument's sake, if I actually record doing this, I'm just going to shoot straight up so you can see it a little bit better. Same thing. Different 2 firing. Before it was no, but still the 2 at the front, because I'm pointing that way. 2 at the back aren't actually firing anything. I thought they'd changed it to do something like that. So it shoots 3 times as much. Hence, if it took 3 rounds before, it'll take 1 round less, because it's now shooting. So in theory, if it takes 3 rounds, you should be able to one-shot them. I was right the whole time. I don't know why you can't. It has something to do with the fact that Mirage, one in the middle there, is doing more damage than the other 2, and then when you take into account the damage they're actually doing, it takes it from a 3-to-1 ratio. It's all weird math. So that's why you can't one-shot them. They don't all shoot rounds anymore. If they were all shooting rounds, so there was 4 more of them here, yes, this thing would be a lot more lethal. As it is, still a pretty lethal combination. The whole Mirage and any AoE based weapon is quite lethal. The Ogress is exactly the same, as is actually most weapons are lethal in her hands. Damn. Anyway, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch yous next time.